Good day everyone, especially to Mama Rosabel Sablad. So here is our research proposal entitled The Impact of Education on the Lifestyle and Beliefs of the BADJAOS in TAWI-TAWI, Western Philippines. And for our introduction, the United Nations accepts that giving equality education serves as a spine in making a difference individuals to escape from poverty and achieve persistent economic development.
Whereas a noteworthy advance within the Philippines has been made towards expanding Gate 2 to education at all levels and expanding enrollment and advancement rates in schools, but is still and badly designed route proceeds to bother the government for discernibly. There are numerous indigenous people who still barely make it trapped indeed the essential instruction, and despite the bolder endeavors done to create more critical strides for accomplishing a widespread education of GTUs.
In the island of Tawi-Tawi, a few of the coastal zones that the Bajo utilized to stop and grapple their punk boats are as of now made as a recovery properties. This may cause a financial uprooting that could affect to their educations.
For these indigenous people to manage up and overcome the challenges of the modern environment, they have been settling with finishing primary education or getting a college degree could be an extraordinary jump to do.
This consider discovered the different determinants that drove the Badgers from clearing out school. Evaluate the diverse programs done by some of the governments. According to Karen and Cahill, that no culture, race, or group is ever superior.
Ideas, practices, and judgments are best understood by the society where somebody or a group resides.
The Bajos never really had comfortable lives. When they were all the while living adrift, they were at any rate free from the regular dismissal and hardship brought upon by different clans that live usher. Bajos have difficulty in finishing their studies because of the environment they have been immersed. Their elders are still not able to move on from the things they got used with where they lived almost 6 decades back for. Discrimination against indigenous people is a structural problem which is fundamentally hinders their appropriate access to essential services, resources, and opportunities. This examined the different factors that push the Bajos in Tawi-Tawi Western Philippines to discontinue their study. And for our review-related literature studies, so we have Miss Charity Simbahan.
Many children had painful experiences of being bullied and discriminated both at the primary and tertiary education levels. In most cases, the children endured the bullying although it hurts them.
Being discriminated and bullied were the most hurtful experiences that they ever had in their lives. Aside from the devastating emotional impact, it pushed them to drop out of school.
According to Patania et al., their enrollment rate continually decreases. It is difficult for a Bajo child to complete the grade level within a year because the parents take their child to the streets or sea for begging.
There is no food, or they are not motivated to continue, for many of them are severely bullied in school.
The Badjaos are the most minimized ethnic gathering and one of the least fortunate clans in the Philippines. A Muslim clan that is avoided by nearly everybody. For as needs are, the Badjaos are typically viewed as unhygienic and ignorant and inept. Physical distance should not be the only factor in accessibility to education. Psychological concerns should not also be considered. BADJAOS experienced discrimination. They were tagged as a slow learner, have poor hygiene, and have low emotional cohesion.
Due to language barrier, they have difficulty interacting with other people and expressing their ideas and needs. They are always left out in learning academic subjects. They lack moral and financial support to continue their education.
And for our methodology, we have Mr. Jimal P. Gabian.
And for our research design, this study will use qualitative research, and it is non-numerical data such as language is collected, analyzed, and interpreted in qualitative research. The approach that will suitable for better interpretation, description, and conceptualization of the relevant information gained from the respondents and will serve as the response and gather the information of the research problem. For the research method, this study will utilize web-based research methods that refers to any study approach that collects information over the internet. We also use this method because it is one of the good ways to obtain information from respondents who may not have time to an interview, particularly to their indigenous youth which located in remote areas. And for the sampling, we used purposeful sampling, also known as selective sampling, a technique that's used by qualitative researchers to find participants who can provide in-depth and detailed information about the phenomenon under investigation. And we used also the sampling utilizing the fishbowl technique in scrutinizing the information through the references in internet. For the plan analysis, we use descriptive analysis defines the phenomena by addressing who, what, where, when, and what extent it exists. Our descriptive analysis discovered previously unidentified socially significant occurrences. And let's move forward for the results and discussions. Let's welcome Ms. Danisa M. Ala.
Chapter 4 Results and Discussion. The BADJAOS never really had comfortable lives when they were all the while living adrift. At present, the BADJAOS are the most minimized ethnic gathering and one of the least fortunate clans in the Philippines, a Muslim clan that is avoided by nearly everybody. For as needs are, the BADJAOS are typically viewed as unhygienic, ignorant, and inept. Discrimination against indigenous people is a structural problem which fundamentally hinders their appropriate access to essential services, resources, and opportunities. Indigenous children are more likely to suffer from discrimination in school by not only the classmates but also the teachers. The challenges enumerated above pushed harder the government efforts in crafting and implementing programs to uplift the lives and beliefs of indigenous people, such as the Alternative Learning System or ALS, Technical Education and Skills Development Authority or TESDA, and localization and contextualization of instructional materials of Department of Education or DepEd. The study findings reveal that a variety of BADJAOS are often considered as unsanitary, uninformed, and unskilled. Furthermore, BADJAOS struggle to complete their studies due to the atmosphere in which they have grown up. Discrimination against indigenous people, on the other hand, is a systematic issue that severely limits their access to important services, resources, and opportunities. In the process of sedentarization as an expression of ethnic identity, satisfaction was emphasized as an antithesis to poverty. It is necessary to accept the right to self-determination, cultural integrity, and diversity. Efforts should begin with changing the thinking and behavior of government workers, especially school teachers, on a local and national level, as well as school education for indigenous and non-indigenous children.